And welcome back to a Chandler's channel. I'm Tracy, your host, and today's session is our monthly intuitive reading with Whitehawk for the month of November 2013. So if that's what you're here for, please stay tuned. Whitehawk will be right up. But as always, I like to touch back on the previous month, that being October 2013. And it was a bit of a long month. It was a gray month. But I mainly want to touch back on, I received some viewers' comments that it was a depressing or inaccurate view, and that, I shouldn't be so depressing. I should be more of a light in the world. So I just want to speak about that for a second. And I had spoken about this in my previous weekly readings, so please do listen to the weekly readings of October, and you will hear me talk about my readings with Whitehawk. I did actually say to him in one of them, like, oh my gosh, Whitehawk, like, I can't handle you saying it's going to be a bad week again, right? Because, also in life we hear that people always say, oh, well, don't be negative, don't be negative. That's like the plague, like, no. But the reality is negative things happen. Bad things in life do happen. And I said this in the video, that Whitehawk and I are teaching you how to move through it, how to get over it, how to move forward in life constantly. And we're teaching you about the various energies. So Whitehawk is coming to us honestly and describing what indeed can and may be possible to happen. So we just take it with a grain of salt and we move forward through it and see how that might relate in our life or the world around us that is happening. Because it doesn't maybe only happen in our life, it can happen in the world around us as well. I can have a bad month, but you might have a really great month, and that's fabulous. And that's okay that Whitehawk wasn't right on the money. I mean, this is not an exact science. We're here to teach and to learn and to heal. You're welcome, and I've said this, to go to one of the many other YouTube channels that do angel card readings and so on and so forth if you always want a positive, upbeat reading. And, there's some really good channels out there, which leads me to saying, in life, maybe I'm not the perfect fit for you to have a listen for. Maybe there's another teacher out there, or another healer, or another person who does readings that you're going to gravitate towards, that you are going to have a better fit with. In life, sometimes it's time to say goodbye and move forward from a person, a place, a thing, and find something new that does fit you. And I'm okay with that. If I don't fit you, please move forward about that. You don't have to be mean about it. And I don't think my comments, the viewers' comments, were mean. But you have to be careful how it's construed, that it can be taken as an attack, which leads me to how readings are metaphorical. They're filled with imagery. They can be literal, and they can be metaphorical. And this is Ridley. Yes, it drives me insane about readings. But they are what they are, and we have to accept them as they are. We cannot control what Spirit gives to us. We can control how we take it and what we do with it. But if Spirit delivers that message to me, I can't control it. I certainly can. I can censor, but I don't think I would be doing my spirit any justice. Now, so the imagery was, in the last one, was of, I said a guerrilla or militant man with a gun. It was very, it was quite the imagery, right? With a gun pointed to a girl's head or a person's head. And the way I construe that in the events that occurred with the comments was that indeed that did happen. So someone who was served probably very much in the same form and fashion as I am, trying to help the world in some form or fashion, but did not feel that the way I was serving the world was beneficial. So they made a comment about that, right? Let's be a light in the world, sweetie, And so that is the same as putting that gun to my head. thinking that somehow you are better than me, you are above me, right? Because he's standing above the girl with the gun to the head. That's what that means. And so you have to learn to decipher, to deconstruct the message, not only through literal means, but through metaphorical means. And you'll get better as you do it as you go along. You'll see it better. So that's what that meant. Now, I don't even know what the end of the message meant with the little girl handing the scroll to Whitehawk, because perhaps it wasn't beneficial in my life this past month, but maybe one of the viewers, it is beneficial in your life this past month. So he's trying to serve globally. We are serving globally, by the way. We're not just serving Canada and North America. I'm trying to hit globally, and bad things do happen. We're not just in our little corner of the world. So once again, we're trying to help people get up and move forward. So that's what I want to state about that. So I stated about the metaphors and the imagery, and about how sometimes people just don't serve you serve you well anymore. There's not a good fit, so it's time to move forward, and that's okay. What else did I want to talk about? Well, if I think about it, I'll come back to it. So that's what I wanted to state about the previous month. They're not all going to be, rosy messages. That's not what we're here for. I do want to thank those who are with me and have been loyal to me. Thank you, and God bless you. I hope you are learning from this, and that's what Whitehawk and I are here for. Okay, so having said all that, let's go get Whitehawk and see what he does have to say for the month of November 2013, and we're just going to take it as however he gives it to us. Okay, I'm not going to come here and I'm not going to rearrange it so that it's all flowers and happiness and, cookies and plum drops. I'm just going to give it to you the way it comes. That is my role. Okay, let's go get him. Indeed, he says, tough message there, young lady. He says, tough message. Get it out there. Good for you, he says. Good for you. And he gives me a pat on the back. Oh, and he just reminded me. He says, yes, I am reminding you that you wanted to speak of beware the wolf in sheep's clothing. And I say, thank you, Whitehawk. Thank you. I forgot to mention that. Which is, he says, yes, beware the wolf in sheep's clothing. He says, the people that come across as very naive or gentle or all fluff and no stuff, but he says, they are biting. They are growling at you, and they will come through in such a very soft and serene and very nice and gentle way, he says, but at the same time, he says, they are a wolf, he says. So be very careful of that person, he says. And indeed, they can be very tricky because they're being so nice to you and fluffy and they're smiling and la la la. He goes, but they are a wolf. There is no other way to put that, he says. They indeed are a wolf. And he says, sometimes they are even worse than the wolf that comes to you that is growling and snarling, a wolf that is a wolf, he says. Sometimes the sheep that come as wolves are the worst wolves, and they are the hardest to detect. But he says, with your savvy skills, he says, I know you will learn to detect them. Indeed. He says, indeed. God bless. He says, now, for the month of November 2013, he says, as we move forward through the last legs of the year of 2013, he says, and as he's saying this, the imagery that I do see is cold, windy days, gray, and I see the snow starting to fly. Not a lot, but I do see snowflakes starting to fly. He says, yes, indeed, there will be much snow, he says, that comes to many parts of the continents throughout the world, he says, but indeed the main part of the north, he says, is where the snow will fall. He says, and so with excessive snowfall, he says, comes the need for people to withdraw. to withdraw into the deep, into the heat, he says, into the quietness and the somberness of our home, he says. And so, although it is a busy season, a busy time of year, he says, there will be many people who need to withdraw at the time, or during this month time, he says. So be patient with your loved ones, he says, this month, as there will be many sporadic changes that occur throughout this month. But they are good changes. They are changes that are leading us to anew, he says. That will bring comfort. That will bring newness. Therefore, with the newness comes the vibrance of energy, he says. But it will be a time of receding and withdrawal more than anything, he says, my friends. So be blessed, he says, with, and he blesses himself. Be blessed, my friends, with this newfound knowledge that I am imparting upon you, he says. But for the most part, it will be a busy season, he says, wrapping up this year of 2013. God bless, he says. God bless. Thank you, Whitehawk. Thank you. So that is our quick little November reading for 2013. Let's see how it goes. Love your comments. Thanks very much for them. As I said, they haven't been mean, and so God bless you guys for that, because I do believe that you know, what goes around comes around. So whatever you put out there is going to come back to you, that boomerang effect. So our next reading will be our weekly reading for our first new week in November, up on Monday. I shall see you then, and well, behave out there. Play, but behave. Subscribe, it's free. Like, comment, share. We'll see you soon. God bless. I'm Tracy for a Chandler's Channel.